Hello, hello, how are you doing today? My name is Mary, this is Happily Ever Esch, and today I want to share my Friday reads with you all. I haven't done one of these videos in a while, but I didn't post a TBR for May because I just am not sure what I'm going to be reading, so I thought that I'd do like a little mid-month Friday reads catch up. So I finished 3 books this week. Well, no, I finished 2 books and I'm so close to finishing my 3rd for the week, kind of ones that I've been working on the beginning of the month. So I will share all of those reads and then we'll kind of chat with what I might read this weekend. So the first book I finished was my audiobook, and that's Anne of Wendy Poplars. This is the 4th book in the Anne of Green Gables series. I've listened to all of these on audio. I really enjoy the series on audio, and if you're new to my channel, hello, I love Anne of Green Gables. The books are so cozy and enveloping. This was my first read of this 4th book, Anne of Wendy Poplars. It definitely was my least favorite in the series, but that being said, it was still a 4-star read for me. I love Anne. I love all the people she meets, the connections that she makes, and this book was no different. I think some of the charm is lost as she's aging because she's just becoming an adult and, I mean, has a little more realism in her outlook on life, but she's still just a lovely dreamer. She makes everywhere that she goes feel like home, which is just something that I think I definitely aspire to do and to be. She's a lovely character. This was a lovely story. This was the Anne Along book for last month, so I'm a little behind, so I do plan on getting to the 5th one, but probably I'll listen to a couple more audiobooks before I pick that one up. But I am participating in the Anne Along, and if you're interested as well, you can find that information down in the description box below. Speaking of the Anne Along creators, I buddy read a book with Amanda over at The Curly Reader. She is an absolute gem. Definitely go check her channel out. And we buddy read Paper Wishes by Lois Saban. This is a very short little middle grade novel, and this follows a young girl who has been sent to a prison internment camp because she's a Japanese American. If you didn't know, World War II, Japanese Americans were sent to these prison camps. It was obviously a very dark and tragic part of our United States history. And while I did enjoy this book, I thought it was very sweet. I definitely think it glossed over a lot of kind of the more negative issues of these internment camps and prison camps. Our main character lives in Washington on an island, and she is taken from her home into an internment camp in California. Manazar, I believe, is the name of the camp that she is taken to. Something that I didn't realize going into this is she loses her dog. They don't let her take her dog with her, and this is kind of like the central crux of the whole story. So I think if you're an animal lover, that would be something that you might enjoy of this story. I kind of thought the fixation was a little much, but I also understand it's not just about the dog, and while that was so tragic and hard for her, like there's also so many other traumas, like being removed from your home, your family, your school, and so I do understand why that was such like a main point, but I wish the author would have gone just a little bit further in exploring the racism, the trauma that this family would have experienced going into this camp. So it was sweet. I loved, you know, the grandfather in this is just a wholesome, beautiful character. But overall, I wish it would have gone a little farther, because I've read middle grade that go farther, and I think you can do it in a way that speaks truth but also isn't like utterly upsetting to young children. But also this is something to be upset about, and I think it could have been handled with a little more depth. Overall, a good 3.5 star. I rounded it up on Goodreads to a 4-star read. It was a joy to talk about this with Amanda. It's so good to be able to like express your feelings through a buddy read and chat and bounce ideas off one another, and I think that that definitely heightened my experience getting to talk with her about this book. And then for another buddy read, I'm finishing up A Place for Us. I don't have the dust jacket on. Can you see the pretty spine? I'm buddy reading this book with Marissa over at Blatantly Bookish. Again, she'll be linked down below. She's a delight. We have been bookish booktube friends for quite a while, since before I took my like long extended break. She's a gem. This is a really interesting family saga story. We are following really one family who have immigrated from India, hybridad in India, to the United States, and it's following them and their children. I definitely think this one got off to a slow start. It's a very character-driven novel, but as you fall in love with the characters and you get sucked into the story, I've enjoyed it more and more. So I have part 4 to finish, about 80-ish pages, and I hope, like I said, to do that tonight and then move on to some different reads this weekend. The audiobook that I'm currently listening to is In the Unlikely Event by Judy Blume. This is the book club pick for my in real life book club that I'm doing. I honestly don't know much about this. I did have this book on my shelf and unhauled it a while ago, but it is our book club pick now, so I'm listening to it on audio. I am enjoying the narrator. Her voice sounds very familiar, but yes, I just started. I'm like 30 minutes into it. It's a historical novel. The first little bit is like set in the 80s, and then we flash back and we go back to the 50s. So I'm interested. I haven't read a Judy Blume book since I was very young. I really did enjoy Judy Blume as a young child. I read Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I read all the Fudge books. Yeah, I enjoyed Judy Blume. She definitely was an author that I read as a kid. So I'm interested in reading her adult novel. I don't know why I unhauled it, if I just decided it wasn't for me. I don't know. But we get another chance here now. So. Alright, so what am I going to pick up? I don't know. I have 2 books from my spring TBR that I need to get cracking on that spring TBR. So I have The Moonflower Vine, which is a modern classic. Again, I think like a character study kind of family story. So it's pretty short. I just don't know if I'll be in the mood for that right after finishing A Place for Us. So, but I do want to read this, and I think it'll be a perfect spring read. I also have, and the one that I think I probably will pick up, Travels with Charlie in Search of America by John Steinbeck. My husband and I have been looking at tents and just talking about camping, and while that might not be something that happens for us in the near future, I can go on a little road trip with Mr. Steinbeck. So I do think this is the one I'm leaning towards, so we'll see about that. And then, you know, it might not be either of those books. I might find something from my shelves and pull it. But these are the 2 that are calling my name a little more than some of the other ones. Also, I have another book club that we just started with a group of friends that we're doing because of quarantine, and they have more time and want to read. So though I struggle sometimes when I have a lot of like reading that I have to do, I couldn't say no to like them wanting to read a book. So we're reading Little Fires Everywhere, which I was totally down with. We're not doing that till the very end of the month, so I have some time, but it's one that I also might pick up just to get cracking on it. So I'd love to know what you plan to read this weekend. Do you have any thoughts or opinions about the books that I've read? Let's chat about it down in the comments below. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will talk to you later. Bye.